What's going on, everybody? It's Pelfrey, youtube.com/Pelfrey. It's been a while. Had a lot going on. Got a lot going on at work. The weather's nice, so there's still some things going on with the tank. Just haven't documented the entire process. If you followed along on this journey, you know that one of the most recent videos is that all of the SPS have pretty much died. I do have one more acro in here that's showing some signs of white, so it is what it is. I did send off the ATI ICP test kit about a little over a month ago. It took about two and a half weeks to get those results in. I picked up the Seneye power meter, and we're going to go over that a little bit in this video here. But basically, as far as the ATI ICP test kit is concerned, everything came back pretty good. The calcium was a little elevated, and there were some other elements that were a little elevated. If you don't know about the ATI ICP test kit, you send, I think it was 3 vials of your tank water, and you send 1 or 2, I can't remember, of your roadie water. So the roadie water came back just fine, no issues whatsoever with it. So what I did was I took those results and I posted them on Reef to Reef. So if you are curious, you can find them on my website, or which is pelfrey.net, or on Reef to Reef. I have a build thread there. If you Google devoted reefer, you'll go there. But basically, there's a gentleman on Reef to Reef, Randy Holmes Farley, and he's I guess a chemist by trade. So I posted him on there, asked his opinion, and he said everything looked good. So that really doesn't narrow down why I lost SPS corals. I have no clue why. I can speculate, and my guess is my salinity. At one point, my salinity got pretty low. I think it was like 1.20, something like that. So I am testing salinity on a more frequent basis, and I am calibrating the refractometer that I have every time that I use it, just to have a baseline. I did buy 2 different calibration fluids, and ironically enough, they don't equal the same amount. So if you put the BRS version, I guess, on the refractometer and calibrate it, and then you use the I think it's Brightwell is the other one that I got, they're not the same. So I've stuck with the I don't know if BRS makes it or not, but I've stuck with one of them, and I've just rode that out. So even on the ATI ICP test, the salinity I think was a little low. To offset that, what I've done is I've just added some salt water to the tank so that whenever the water evaporates, the salt will stay in, thus raising the salinity. So with that being said, I haven't added anything to the tank. I haven't changed anything on the tank. I'm just letting it mellow out. I did a full manual test on the tank this morning, which is Saturday morning. The alkalinity came back at 7.9. The calcium was at 420. The magnesium was 1200. The nitrates were 4. The phosphates were 0. So I have slacked off on doing any of the testing to raise the phosphates up. I dosed a capful of the SKimmer Flourish into the tank. Shout out to a gentleman by the name of Scurvy. Probably mentioned him a couple different times before, but I posted my test results and the Scully on Reef to Reef, and he said I would go ahead and dose up some phosphates. So that's what I did. I just dumped a capful of the SKimmer Flourish, SKimmer Phosphorus into the tank, which I got that idea from Amarazul TV. He's got a Red Sea Reefer as well, and his tank is thriving. So is Scurvy. So I'm definitely appreciative to anybody that's offering advice, and I usually take it, especially if they have a tank that can show for it. So as far as everything else in the tank, it's doing pretty well. I put this rock in the tank, I don't know, a couple months ago. It was in the sump for a couple months, but it's already turning purple. So everything in here turns purple rather quickly. Since I did lose all the SPS, there's really no reason to dose alkalinity and calcium anymore. Now, since my alkalinity is at 7.9, I shut the Neptune dose off a week or two ago probably. The levels I thought would be a little higher, but with the coralline out in here, I guess that's why it's kind of stayed stabilized. But I am not dosing calcium, and I've upped the dosage of alkalinity a little bit just because I'd like to get in the 8.4, 8.6 range as far as alkalinity is concerned. But if you follow me on Instagram, which Instagram, it's Pelfrey's Reef, I posted some results from the Seneye, and excuse me, quite honestly, I thought that they would be higher. So we're going to take a look at it today. What I may do is I may drop the light fixture down just a little bit for reference. Got a tape measure here. The water line to the fixture is about 9.5 inches. So I may drop it down to about 8 inches and just kind of see what happens. So let's reposition the tripod, grab my scraper and zip tie the Seneye power meter to it, grab my laptop, bring it over here, and let's get some power readings from the Kessil T5 hybrid fixture, which for reference, this would be nice to know. The T5s, it's a blue plus in the back, it's a coral plus in the back, it's an actinic and a blue plus bulb, and then the Kessil. So let me log into Apex Fusion and figure out what the percentage of the Kessils are running at for a baseline, and then we'll increase them a little bit and see what kind of power readings we get. So this is how I've decided to do this. Seen something similar from Dave's Nano Tanks. This is just a scraper that I really no longer use because the T5 fixture is in the way. What I'm going to do is zip tie it to the scraper, and it should work pretty well. Now the downside is this thing floats. So whenever I get it in the tank, I can't unfortunately just leave it there, and because it'll float up. So pretty simple process here. Throw a zip tie on both sides. If you don't keep zip ties laying around your house, I suggest you do, because I use them for quite a few different tasks. So I'm just going to make sure it's tight, and so that I don't hit anything. Cut the zip ties off, get the laptop, go over to the tank. I don't know how well we can see the laptop over here, but I have Apex Fusion up, and right now the Kessil intensity is at 59%, the color's at 61%. So what we're going to do first is turn off the gyre pumps. I have a towel here just in case. So the gyre pumps are off, and the return pump is still running. So let's get this thing plugged in, see how much of a problem we have with it. Close to the water surface here, directly underneath the left Kessil, we're at 260-ish par, and if we move down to this rock structure, which is where I have the green slimer, we're at 118, 100. Then if we move further down to the sand bed, we're at about 92. So if we move directly in the middle of the tank, we got 87. And then over here, which is where I had quite a few acros, we're in the 100 range. At the top of this rock structure, we're at 150. Now there is some surface agitation right above it, so that may have something to do with that reading there, because if we move it over where there is no surface agitation, we're in the 240 range. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this to stay put somehow. Taking the Kessil intensity to 100%. We're at 108. Let's take the Kessil color, which shouldn't make much of a difference, to 100%. We jumped up to 125. So, ironically enough, with the intensity and the color at 100%, we did get a small jump. So we'll just kind of get a baseline reading here at the water's edge. We're at 208. Doesn't really seem right to me because we've turned the lights up. If we move over here to the acro area, we're at 115, 118. There we go. I should have did that from the beginning. So the water surface 270. At the sand bed 100. Move over to this side of the tank. Get pretty low here where the recordia is at. With some surface agitation, we're at 75, 80, and back at the frag rack there, we're at about 100. So, you know, quite honestly, I thought the numbers would be a little bit higher than what they truly are. Let's turn the gyre pumps back on and just see how much this changes. So in its current location, we're at 140, it jumped up to 150. Got the gyre pumps going now. And the par goes, it's fluctuating 134, 121, 150. And that's about a little bit lower than midway. It's a little bit below the middle of the tank at this point. And it's jumping, it's at 146, it's at 124. So what is your opinion? Where should I run these lights, the Kessil lights, at 100%? You know, at this point, I'm not really sure what to do. So in the same location, I've dropped the fixture from about 9 inches down to a little below 8 inches from the water. And it's fluctuating at 148, 159, 134, so it has increased a little bit. Let's turn the gyre pumps off. Let's see what happens when the water settles out. Goes to 140, 144, 126, 132. See, it's all over the place. Hopefully I'm using this power meter correctly. So now at water surface, we're at close to 300. Top of this rock structure, 180. The sand bed here in the middle of the tank, 106, 118, 111. Go back over here to the recordia. It's at 76, 89, 91. Over here in the corner of the tank, 96. The frag rack, 160. Back where these acros were, we are at 131, 130. If I can spin it around here where the euphyllias are down here. We're at 107, 108. And again up here towards the water surface, 300. So maybe that is better. Maybe I should have dropped the lights some time ago. Let me know what your opinion is. Where should I be at as far as par is concerned? Because I feel like the par should be a little bit higher. Now granted, I am running Kessil 160s, so that may be why, but I'm not really sure what to do at this point, so I'm just asking for some opinions. Again, this is with the Kessil color and intensity at 100%. So directly underneath the Kessil, we're at 323, 340. Directly under T5, we're at 116, 115. This Aqua SD Acro is right at 146, 155. So what I feel like, it's jumped up there to 170, 178. So it's all over the place. Should I leave the T5 fixture at 8 inches there? Should I run the Kessils at 100%? You know, I would be going from the 60-ish% up. Should I gradually do this? Leave it in the comment section below because I have no clue. So if you stuck around this far, thank you. Hopefully it's been beneficial. I probably should have turned the T5s off, ditch just the Kessils, and then turn the Kessils off, ditch just the T5s. But, you know, truth be told, I'm running a hybrid fixture, so maybe that's something I do later on down the road. Future plans for the tank: for a little while, I'm just going to let it ride out. Got a lot going on. You know, I'm a spur of the moment type of person, so you know, I may pick up some SPS frags just to try out again. I'm not really sure, but my plan is, we'll see if I stick to it. My plan is just to let the tank maintain itself, keep up with you know, the cleaning the skimmer, doing some water changes here and there, and just making sure what I have in the tank now thrives. So now that I got the fixture moved down a little lower, I kind of like it. So it looks like the fixture needs to be cleaned a little bit. There's some salt spray on the fixture, and it always amazes me how it gets up that high. But that's going to be it for this one, folks. I do appreciate you following along on this journey, and hopefully I'll get another video out and pretty quickly, but we'll see how things pan out over the next couple of weeks or so. Hope you've had a wonderful day. Hope you've had a beautiful weekend. Check out pelfrey.net and Pelfrey's Reef on Instagram, and I'll see you on the next one.